Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Lawrence Ross, aka Blind Lawrence.
Pardon me, you with the severe aesthetic deficiencies.
Hey, ugly!
Thanks for checking out my YouTube channel. Hope you like what you see. Observing obscure observances, looking at the calendar for July 20th. It's Global Hug Your Kids Day. Global Hug Your Kids Day was started by Michelle Nichols in 2008, a decade after her son Mark died of brain cancer at the age of 8.5. The day reminds mom and dads, especially those who are working parents and are often gone, to show affection to their kids by hugging them every day. There's no information on this one. International Chess Day. Now, I do not understand chess at all. I've never played chess. It's been explained to me, but I get lost very quickly. So if anybody out there in the comment section wants to break it down for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. This one's very fitting for today. It's called Moon Day. Moon Day celebrates the anniversary of the day in 1969 when humankind first walked on the moon. The Apollo space program had begun under the Eisenhower administration, but a tightened focus on placing a man on the moon before the end of the 1960s occurred after President John F. Kennedy gave a speech before a joint session of Congress on May 25, 1961, during which he said, "I believe this nation should commit itself to achieving its goal. For this decade is out, landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth." This speech was given in the context of the Cold War, when the United States was still behind the Soviet Union in the space race, but wanted to beat them in landing a man on the moon. Over the course of the decade, the United States placed itself on the trajectory to having a moon landing by making progress by the Apollo program. The first unmanned Apollo mission took place in 1966 and tested the launch vehicle, the Saturn rocket, with a spacecraft. Tragedy struck on January 27, 1967, when a fire at a launching site of Apollo 1 killed 3 astronauts. The first manned Apollo mission, Apollo 7, took place on October 1968. The spacecraft orbited Earth and things that would be needed to journey to the moon and land on it. Apollo 8 of December 1968 brought 3 astronauts to the dark side of the moon. Apollo 9 of March 1969 tested the lunar module for the first time. In May of 1969, the Apollo spacecraft went around the moon and it's the entire run of the moon landing. On July 16, 1969, at 1:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 astronauts launched into space from Launch Complex 39A at Cape Canaveral in Florida. The group of Apollo 11 consisted of Neil Armstrong, the mission's commander, as well as Edwin Buzz Aldrin Jr. and Michael Collins. Their spacecraft, powered by a 363-foot Saturn V rocket, reached the Earth orbits in about 12 minutes. After orbiting Earth 1.5 times, the astronauts were given the go-ahead to begin to the moon. 3 days later, on July 19th, they reached the lunar orbit after going about 240,000 miles in 76 hours. Collins stayed in the command module, Columbia, while Aldrin and Armstrong on the lunar module, Eagle. At 1:46 p.m. on July 20th, the Eagle detached from the command module, and 2 hours later it began its descent. With only 30 seconds of fuel left, the module touched down on the moon at 4:18 p.m. on what became known as Tranquility Base on the western edge of the Sea of Tranquility. Armstrong spoke to Mission Control located in Houston, Texas, saying, "Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed." At 10:39 p.m., the module's hatch was open, and 17 minutes later, over 500 million people watched on television as Neil Armstrong climbed down the ladder and became the first human to plant his foot on the moon.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Now, there's a bit of a mess up in the recording because he says that's one small step for a man, that's one giant leap for mankind, but the A was cut out for some reason. Or, well, I've often heard that he messed it up. But then, as it says here, Aldrin joined him 19 minutes later and described the moon surface as magnificent. They collected samples, did scientific tests, and took photographs. They planted an American flag, left behind a patch that honored those who perished in Apollo 1, and left a plaque that said, Here, men from the planet Earth first set foot on the moon, July 1969 AD. We came in peace for all mankind. They even received a phone call from President Nixon. At 1:11 a.m., they were back in the lunar module and then spent the night sleeping on the moon's surface. The following afternoon, the lunar module made its way back to the command module, docking there at 5:35 p.m. All three astronauts began their journey back to Earth at 12:56 a.m. on July 22nd. They splashed down southwest in the Pacific Ocean at 12:50 p.m. on July 24th. 10 more astronauts made it to the moon after them, as part of 5 more landings, Apollos 12, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Apollo 13 would have been a landing as well, but it had to be aborted. Gene Cernan, the last Apollo astronaut to stand on the moon, said as he left, "We leave as we came, and God willing, as we shall return, with peace and hope for all mankind." This last manned moon mission took place in December of 1972. When the Apollo program was still going, Senate Joint Resolution 101 was passed, requesting the president to issue a proclamation for National Moonwalk Day. President Nixon proclaimed the day with Proclamation 4667, commemorating the anniversary of the first moonwalk, as well as recognizing the many achievements of the National Space Program. Nixon's proclamation was only for 1971, though, and some have since pushed the Moon Day to be a permanent national holiday. In the spring of 1973, Richard Christmas of Lansing, Michigan, began a campaign for Moon Day. He contacted congressmen and legislators and sent letters to the governors of all 50 states and to 200 mayors. He also sent a bill to Washington, D.C. that he wanted President Nixon to sign. There have been more recent proponents, such as James J. Mullany, the former curator of a planetarium in Pittsburgh, who has said, if there's a Columbus Day on the calendar, there certainly should be a Moon Day. Although Moon Day is not yet a national holiday, many people celebrate the anniversary of the moon landing on today's date. Here's one for you, Nap Day. Humans are monophasic sleepers, meaning they devote one part of the day to sleep and the other part to be awake. But there is one exception to this, naps. And being that today is Nap Day, it is the perfect day to take one. Naps provide numerous benefits as long as they aren't too long. Naps that are about 10 to 30 minutes in length improve mood, alertness, and performance both mentally and physically. The alertness that naps provide can last for a few hours' time. Naps of 10 minutes in length provide the most benefits, cognitive performance, and reduced sleepiness. Naps also provide relaxation and rejuvenation. I've always thought that nap stood for nice afternoon pause. National Get Out of the Doghouse Day. Have you recently wronged someone and they put you in the doghouse? Or is there someone you haven't spoken to in for a while that you put in the doghouse yourself? Today is for mending a strained relationship that have left someone in the doghouse. The day was started in 1999 by Heidi Richards, who created it in part to help her floral business. What better way is there to get yourself out of the doghouse than to buy a person who put you there some flowers? Well, that might work maybe day after Valentine's Day, but I've maintained this philosophy for a long time. I think if you're in a relationship and you have neglected Valentine's Day and you get put in the doghouse by your significant other, well, I think you belong there for a little bit of time. Think about what you've done. There's actually a radio host named Glenn Beck who he actually made an entire album full of nothing but phone calls of dudes calling his radio show asking him to help get them out of the doghouse. Wow. What a bunch of sissies. Just lay down on the couch and take it like a man. There's no information on this one. Darn. National Lollipop Day. Lollipop, lollipop, oh, lolly, lollipop, 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 oh, lolly, lollipop, 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 oh, lolly, lollipop, lollipop. There's no information on this one. National Ugly Truck Contest Day. Space Exploration Day, no information. World Jump Day. Might as well jump! Go ahead and jump! And that's the end of the video. I'm Lawrence Ross. Thanks for watching. Hope you like what you saw. Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Lawrence Ross, aka Blind Lawrence. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you'd like, you can check me out on my other social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and yes, even Instagram.
That does not make sense.
All ending in /Blind Lawrence.
Cute.